the high boost filter. Today's class, we will try to understand what is the gradient filter or how this first derivative works, because the process of this derivative is also somewhat new to us. So we will concentrate on this process and try to understand as much as is possible. So what is the sharpening filter? So generally we see that the sharpening filter is used to highlight fine detail in an image, or as has been mentioned, to enhance the detail that has been blurred either due to error or because of a natural effect due to image acquisition. So one of the major requirements of a sharpening filter appears when the image blurring has happened or distortion has happened, or due to some natural image acquisition methods, like last class we have been saying that if there is a power cut and it is changing from the electricity power to the alternate form of power like an inverter or any other renewable power, this may affect the image acquisition, or sometimes you may even switch on nearby power points. This may also affect the device if it is very, very sensitive. Usually all such protections are taken care in mostly costly. Still, it is that. So one of the major things that we need to consider is here, unlike smoothing, where the smoothing was done by averaging of its operation, which was an integration process, here we would see that sharpening is going to be carried out by finding the difference of its neighbors, and as a result we are talking about gradient, first derivative, second derivative, so on, because we are going to find out the difference of its neighbors rather than the average of the neighbors, or rather than making it work on neighborhood functions. Here we are going to work it on difference of neighbors. That is the basic use of the sharpening filter. As has been said, it is used for highlighting fine details, and if you consider the example of a mask, it will have both positive and negative weights, and as has been mentioned before, the sum of the mask would be equal to 0. This example was considered even in our previous slide. Here we have seen that this is minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7 and minus 8. So this is minus 8 and this is plus 8. So the net effect is 0. As has been mentioned, the sum of the mask element is 0. So we would have a Gaussian derivative something like this, and we would have the second derivative, which is usually also called as the Laplacian derivative. This is almost similar to the shape of the Gaussian, but you would see that its curve is not that much sharper, and of course the magnitude could be easily controlled by some other parameter. So with this base, we are going to see what is this specific process of this edge detection and how can we understand it. Many times what happens is that the output that we get from sharpening may be negative, and we have already seen in the arithmetic operations when we have subtraction, if we have negative values, we have to round it to 0 or to 255, whichever is going to be the value, and that is exactly what is done here also. Because of sharpening, because please remember, we are finding the difference. So when we find the difference, we may get minus 5, we may get minus 3. When we get such negative values, we have to map it to a value. This value is going to be nothing other than 0. We have considered some similar examples when we have tried the subtraction class. We have an input image, and this is the example of a sharpened image, and you would see that this sharpened image needs to be remapped to 0 to 255. So basically, what is going to be the basic property of a derivative operator? You would see that it is proportional to the degree of discontinuity of the image at the point at which the operator is applied. Next problem that you will ask is, what is discontinuity? And you see that the discontinuities and edges. Discontinuities, another name could be noise, but we could also consider that this could be given as area where the gray values are slowly varying. We could easily detect them. That is what is going to be the edge detection. Is one of the major applications of the sharpening filter, and again we are seeing the same discontinuity because we will be interested in identifying and locating sharp discontinuities in an image. When we say sharp discontinuities in an image, one discontinuity I would mention is a practical case. Suppose you are standing on first floor and you're looking at your friend who's standing on the ground floor. So here you have something which is going to be a discontinuity. You're just looking at your friend, but there is nothing which is there which is going to separate you. You are even likely to fall, assuming that there is no railing or something which is going to protect you. So the discontinuity is also a similar concept wherein we are just going to see how much change in pixel intensity is there which characterizes the boundaries of an object in a scene. In other words, you may be standing at a height where the pixel magnitude is 10 and your friend may be standing where the pixel magnitude is 0. So the discontinuity which we will be seeing would be, it depends on whether you're going to consider your friend here or here, and as a result you will get it as either plus 10 or minus 10. We will consider that profile difference calculation in our next slide. So discontinuity is just the change in a pixel intensity which is observed, and discontinuity means minus 10, then suddenly there is a discontinuity. It is this discontinuity which we would like to detect and which we would be using for detecting the edges. And generally what we are seeing is three variables are usually used in the selection of an edge detection operator, and they are mainly the edge orientation, in what direction it is, the structure of the edge, that means the edge mask, whether it is 2 by 2 structure, 3 by 3, whether difference operator is used, first derivative is used, second derivative is used, etc. And what type of environment we are working on. Because in a noisy environment, some masks or some structures work better than other structures. This is also another concept which we will be considering. On the other hand, some type of edges you will see will always require a pre-filter, something similar to the median filter, which is suitable for salt and pepper. Usually we see that Prewitt noise is suitable for a non-noisy environment, and this is exactly what is meant by that statement, that you need to see what type of environment it is, because suppose you are very confident that your images do not have noise. One of the examples I think I have been telling for this edge detection was carrying out an example of PCB fault detection in our laboratory. We had used it for the ARM board, and when we had taken the ARM board, we had taken the PCB of ARM boards, n number of PCBs, and since it was taken in the same camera, the noise observed was very less, and our results showed that it was showing better one since it was to work well in a non-noisy environment. Of course, we will discuss about this even after the discussion of the three operators. And edge structure, are we satisfied with the first derivative? Should we go to the second derivative? And the implementation tells us in what direction it is going to. Basic expression for the first derivative of a 1D function is going to be given by dou f by dou x is equal to f of x plus 1 minus f of x, where f of x is the function that we are considering. So the difference is going to be calculated just as f of x plus 1 minus fx. This is the basic expression that you are using in mathematics also. Similarly, for the second derivative, the expression that is used is dou square f by dou x square is equal to f into x plus 1 plus f into x minus 1 minus 2fx. What we will be considering is, we will take the first derivative. From there, we will again just differentiate once more. That is also another way of doing the second order derivative. That is what we will be considering when we have a horizontal profile. Is it okay? So most of us are aware that the first order difference is just the difference between, if it is on the x-axis as has been given here, it would be the difference of the parameters of the next element and the present element, and if it is for y, again it would be y plus 1 minus y. And please note here, if it is dou f x, dou f by dou x dou y, we could assume that y is a constant if it becomes equivalent to a 2D function. This is the example that I was discussing. I was trying to tell you a particular example. No, generally it is a 1D profile. 1D has been taken because it is easier for us to visualize the 1D difference rather than a 2D. So what has been considered here is various positions of x are considered here, which means at x equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. This is how the variation of x changes. And please note, the variation of the intensity varies between, it does not go to 0, it stops at 1. If you see the intensity graph, and it starts from 6, it varies, then suddenly it follows a ramp function, it reaches 1, then it goes for a straight line, or what we call, it follows a constant statement up to a certain point, again it rises as a step, and again it remains constant at 6. So this is an example of intensity. Please note, it is actually a horizontal scanning intensity, horizontal profile, as I mentioned, which I have considered directly from the textbook of Gonzalez. And what is that is happening here? What is happening here is, how do I calculate the first derivative and the second derivative? So before I calculate the first derivative and the second derivative, the first statement or the first block, if you see, states the scan line where all the values are just rewritten as they are available. Please note, the black spots, okay, or the black squares I would call them, are the positions or the intensity values which we are going to write in the scan line. So what should we do? Let us start first writing the scan line. So this is going to be 6. Okay, the second point is also going to be 6. The third point is also going to be 6. The fourth point is also going to be 6. So if you find the difference in this case, you will see this is going to be 0, and we will come to that. This is what I was mentioning, that if it is going to be constant intensity, there is not going to be a much of a change in intensity. Then what has happened here, please note, is a ramp. Please note, this is not called as a step because we have values at various points like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it right? There is not going to be a sudden discontinuity. The discontinuity is gradual, which means it starts from 6, it goes to 5, 4, 3, 2. That is what it remains. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Please note, here there is again a sudden discontinuity or a sudden jump in the intensity where it suddenly rises to 6. Is it correct? And then again it remains at 6 at points like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Is it clear? Is the screen visible? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we proceed?
Yes, clear.
We have got this. What do we do? So we stated so many statements, discontinuities, orientation, edges. So the discontinuities, I hope now you have got some idea. One is a ramp function which is gradually decreasing. It's a decreasing ramp. It could also have been an increasing ramp. This is just an example of a horizontal intensity profile. The other profile is a step where it's a sudden rise. Now what do we do? How do I start evaluating the first derivative? Can I start evaluating the first derivative? You will see that again for the first derivative, a graph is drawn. But before I go to the graph, I would like to evaluate it directly from here because that will be easier. Then we will go on to consider the graph for the first derivative. We'll completely understand the first derivative, then move on to the second derivative. What is this value equivalent to? So, as has been mentioned, the scan line is just all the values of the intensity written in a block with space separation. That is what has been considered in the scan line. So how do you evaluate the first derivative? Just now we had considered that the expression of the first derivative is f of x plus 1 minus f of x. F of x plus 1 is this, f of x is this. So 6 minus 6, this would be 0. Please note, 1 0 is missing here. Actually it would start from 0, so this here also there should be a 0 that is missing. Again 6 minus 6, this is again a second 0. 6 minus 6, this is again a third 0. But please note, only 2 zeros have been put. Actually 3 zeros should have been put. Can I put 6 minus 6? That means, can I move from this side to this side? No. Most of you are aware that Here x is equal to 1, here x is equal to 0. So it is higher value of x minus lower value of x. That's how the calculation is carried out till here. Then when we go between 5 to 6, it is 5 minus 6, so it is minus 1. Similarly, 4 minus 5, so it is minus 1. 3 minus 4, so it is again minus 1. 2 minus 3, it is again minus 1. 1 minus 2, again it is minus 1. Then between 1 and 1 it is 0. Between this one and this one it is again the second 0. Between this one and this one it is the third 0. Between this one and this one it is the next 0. Between this one and this one it is the next 0. And it is 6 minus 6. Considering that either we can consider that the first value is just an elementary value. So usually we may not consider the differentiation at x. That is why this is not considered. So we may start from these two values. We will not consider directly from f of 0. So if that is going to be the case, these values are all right. Fine. We have evaluated this thing. Please note again and again, this is only for a 1D, which is with only one variable called as x. We have another variable also called as y. What has been done next is the intensity has been sketched with various values of 1. So here that 0 has not been sketched, that is why that 0 is missing. At 0, the difference has not been evaluated. Considering the fact that the 0 difference is not evaluated, then we have two zeros at these 2 points. Please note the black dot represents the first derivative as is clear from the legend. Then we have minus 1 which is going here. So minus 1 is appearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So same thing. 3, 4, 5 times. Is it right? I think 6 times has been shown here. It is actually 5 times. Here itself it should have been shifted to 0. Then it goes to the 0. Is it right? It is sometimes in some applications we would also like to count how many times it is moving to 0 or how many times 0 is detected. That may also help us to detect some edges, some property. So again you could see that there are 5 zeros. Those 5 zeros are shown 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Again 5 has to be there. And then there is again sudden rise to 5. Is it right? 0. Rise to 5. You see 0. Actually here there should be a 1. That has not been shown. Suddenly it rises to 5. Then it goes back to 0. Again it remains at 0 for 4 points. Is it okay? So this is the first derivative that we have evaluated, which we had physically told in mathematics as f of x plus 1 minus f of x. Usually the second derivative is calculated from the first. You have seen a complicated expression wherein you had some minus 2fx, etc. But as I mentioned, what we will try to do would be, we will try to evaluate the second derivative just from the previous first derivative. So this would be 0 minus 0, it would be 0. 0 minus 0, it would be 0. Minus 1, sorry. Minus 1 minus 0, that is minus 1. Minus 1 minus 1, it is 0. Minus 1 minus 1, it is 0. Minus 1 minus 1, it is again going to 0. Minus 1 minus 1, it's going to 0. Again 0, minus of minus 1, it becomes plus 1. Then you have 0 minus 0, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros representing this 0, and this 0. Then 5 minus 0, this is going to be 5. Then 0 minus 5, it is minus 5. And again it is 0. 0. Again a plus has been done for the second derivative also. As I mentioned, 1 0 has to be less for the second derivative. That has been pictured correctly. So the second derivative is shown with the legend of square as can be seen in this graph. So x is actually the points of the image which are not continuous but discrete, which means 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Just like how it would happen in an image. So this starts from 0, 0, minus 1. Is it correct? Then it goes to 0 again. 4 times it is becoming 0. It goes to 1. It goes to again 0 as has been shown here. Right? And again n number of times it is going to 0. That is 4 number of times. Again it is jumping to 5 as is shown here. Then please note here it is going to minus 5. So that is a very very sharp discontinuity. I was talking about discontinuity. This is a major discontinuity which I would prefer. Okay, it is not that 5 to 0 is not a discontinuity. That is also a discontinuity. But sharp discontinuity would be something like this. Is it right? And then again it comes back to 0 for 3 values. This gives us the graph of the variation in intensity in the horizontal axis. In a similar manner, we may also have the variation in the vertical axis. So what we will be interested is, first we have understood the 1D. It may not be very difficult for us to extend it to 2D. Is it right? Once that is done, we would be interested in finding out the of the operator and what direction it is going to be, because generally the edge orientation is very sensitive to edges, and you would see this is another thing that we see many times. We would have operators. Operators means it is the difference operators which may be working on the horizontal way, in the vertical way, or the similar or the image and considering the derivative, we will consider that we will take the derivative of an image and this will give us sharpening of the image. We have now been considering a 2D image where we have x and y. So this expression would be written as gradient operator is given as del. Del f is going to be equal to dou f of xy dx dy. So here it will vary with respect to x. Another place it is going to vary with y. So in other words, we will be considering the horizontal variation and the vertical variation when we say it is going to be a 2D. Is it right? So it is this 2D that we are going to work on. We have understood the 1D for a horizontal case, and we would be interested in seeing how the 2D would be extended to get the result. So that is what we have attempted. We have used the derivative of the 2D to get the gradient. Another factor about the gradient is, as you are all aware, gradient is a vector which has both naturally magnitude and direction. And why are we bothered about finding the magnitude of the gradient? Because it tells us whether the edge strength is high or low. Should I consider it or should I ignore it? And the direction of the gradient is generally perpendicular to the direction of the edge. We could see that this is going to be the direction, and if this is the direction of del f, then this would be the direction of edge, and direction is also important because we would like to see along which direction the image is going to have a variation in the gradient. We go on to consider the various derivatives which we could implement using the first derivatives, and we will consider it with a simple example of a mass. So generally we would see that del f would be given as magnitude of del f, which is going to be gx square plus gy square, where gx is going to be given as dou f by dou x and gy is going to be given as dou f by dou y. We will be evaluating this. So the magnitude of this will be gx is dou f by dou x. So it is going to be dou f by dou x square, which is gx square, and dou f by dou y square, which is gy square. Root of that would be the magnitude of the gradient, etc. With this, really what we are considering is, it is just written as the common approximation is, it is the magnitude of gx plus gy, and as a result the magnitude is generally observed to be non-linear. Even otherwise, with the square root consider the masks that are possible, let us first recall that we had considered that a mask would have a structure like this. That means it would have Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, Z5, Z6, Z7, Z8 and Z9. We could have various other values, but we have taken a 3 by 3 mask, and now our approximation is, can we take a simple 2 by 2 mask? Yes, we can go in for a simple 2 by 2 mask, and the first example which we have considered is, we are considering it as Z8 minus Z5 is going to be for Gx. Please note, this is your rows. So this is Z8 minus Z5, which gives you the value of Gx. Considering on similar grounds, because I have considered Z5 as my element, can I consider it as Z6 minus Z5? This would be a simple approximation. This is not a standard type of mask, but for our understanding, we can take this as a simple 2 by 2 mask. But as I mentioned, it is not a standard mask usually used in image processing. So the value of such a mask would be, the gradient would be Z6 minus Z5. So once we have evaluated Gx and Gy, we will be getting del f, which is the gradient, is just the square root of these two, as has been given here, Z8 minus Z5, which is Gx squared, plus Gy squared, which is Z6 minus Z5 squared, the whole root. Power half is nothing but your square root. Now, as mentioned before, this is just an approximation of a mask, but this is not a standard mask. The standard mask that exists in image processing is called as a Raubert mask, and it does not exist over a difference of like a condition like this. It occurs over a difference called as cross difference. We will see what would be the value of and by dou, actually called as cross gradient operators or cross difference. Here again we have the same mask, and the example that we are going to consider here is, please note, in our previous case we said, can we approximate Z8 and Z5 and Z6 and Z5. Instead of that, we are considering a diagonal case wherein we are considering it as Z8 and Z6. Is it okay? Z8 and Z6 and Z9 and Z5. So this gives us a mask which is going to be a Raubert mask, which is giving us the shape of a standard mask. And once we have a mask of this type, naturally we can easily find out its magnitude, which is given by square of this into root of this. Here again the root function has been used, and Z8 minus Z6 squared, again root of this. So the direction could be given by tan inverse of y by x, which is dou f by dou y divided by dou f by dou. Since it is a mask of this type, we see that the operation is carried out in such a manner, giving us the values of Z9 minus Z5 and Z8 minus Z6, which is a cross gradient one, and its magnitude is evaluated like this. But we had also said the magnitude could be approximated as just the modulus of this and the modulus of the second term, or rather the modulus of Gx and the modulus of Gy. That is also something which has been carried out here. As a result, the shape of the mask is going to look like as dot values. Z5 is minus 1, Z9 is 1, this is 1 value, and Z8 is 1, Z6 is minus 1, this is another value, which means the shape of the mask is, for x direction it could be like this, and for the y direction it could be in this way.